The Foo Fighters are back and have announced their first live festival dates of 2023, but the big question is, who is going to take over for Taylor Hawkins? Let's find out. Hey everybody, it's Nick here with you, and welcome back to the Rock Squad channel. It's been a big week for rock music fans and Foo Fighters fans everywhere as the band has announced their first live shows of 2023, their first festival dates, and these are their first big shows since the tragic death of Taylor Hawkins last March, and their tribute shows to Taylor that took place in the fall of 2022. It's been an emotional year for Foo Fighters fans, but they've announced their live shows. They're coming back for a few festivals so far announced for this year in 2023: Boston Calling, Sonic Temple in Columbus, and Bonnaroo down in Tennessee. Before we get to it, guys, if you love rock music and the Foo Fighters as much as we do, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any videos here on the Rock Squad channel. Make sure to like this video. We'd appreciate that. Make sure to share it with your friends and fellow rock fans online, and make sure to hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos here on the Rock Squad channel. So as I said, the Foo Fighters are back. They've announced their first festival dates of 2023, their first official shows since the death of Taylor Hawkins last year and the Taylor Hawkins tribute shows last fall. And it's been a crazy year for the Foo Fighters and Foo Fighters fans everywhere as we continue to mourn the loss of Taylor Hawkins, because he wasn't just a drummer in a band. You know, he really was one of the key essential members. Well, they're all essential, but one of the key essential members of the Foo Fighters, one of the faces of the band, along with Dave Grohl. And it's been a little bit of a question about whether the band would be continuing in the wake of Taylor Hawkins' death. It was really a big question. I know I was doubting whether the band would continue and whether they would continue on, whether Dave Grohl would go solo or do some sort of other project. But in an Instagram post that the band released, I think last week, just after the new year, they did announce that they would be continuing on as the Foo Fighters, but of course, the band would be very different without Taylor Hawkins behind the drums. Personally, I'm really glad the Foo Fighters are continuing. They're one of my favorite bands of all time. I love these guys. I had my own doubts about whether they would continue on without Taylor Hawkins, seeing that he is such a huge part of the band and such a legendary drummer and really, such a key integral member of the band. But I'm glad to see that they're going to be continuing on. And the question is, who is going to take over for Taylor Hawkins behind the drum kit? There are a few contenders in line to take over this incredibly huge duty in the world of rock and roll, so I thought I would run down some of the drummers that I think could potentially take over for Foo Fighters and Taylor Hawkins. The first potential person that could take over for Taylor Hawkins as the drummer of the Foo Fighters is Rufus Taylor. He has a great legendary royal rock pedigree as the son of Roger Taylor, the legendary drummer for Queen, and he proved his chops when he actually filled in for some of the songs at the Taylor Hawkins tribute concert in London back in the fall. And of course, he has great chops. He's a drummer for The Darkness, which is another great rock and roll band from England, and so he definitely has the chops to be the drummer of the Foo Fighters. But I guess the thing that's kind of putting me off about Rufus Taylor is that he looks a lot like Taylor Hawkins. He's got long blonde hair. He definitely has the look that Taylor Hawkins has, and although I don't think that would be a bad thing, it might be a little bit weird to see somebody who resembles Taylor Hawkins so closely taking over behind the kit. It might be a little bit weird, not to negate any of his talents behind the kit, because like I said, he's a great drummer, but it might just be a little bit weird to have somebody who looks so close to Taylor Hawkins behind the kit. But that's just me being nitpicky, because this guy rocks, obviously. So one of the people that could potentially take over, and I think he'd be a great contender to take over for Taylor Hawkins, would be Rufus Taylor. Another drummer that could potentially take over for Taylor Hawkins as the drummer of the Foo Fighters is Omar Hakeem, one of the drummers that played with the Foo Fighters at the Taylor Hawkins tribute shows back in the fall. He's got a legendary pedigree. He's played drums with everybody, including David Bowie. He played drums on the legendary Let's Dance album. So this guy obviously has the chops to play in the Foo Fighters. He's a little bit older than the rest of the band, but it's not like they're a bunch of young guys anyway. But he's got a little bit of a different style. He's got a little more of an experimental, maybe more of a Rush, Neil Peart kind of style, which would definitely fit with Foo Fighters, because we know that Taylor Hawkins was a big Neil Peart fan and a big Rush fan, but might not fit with the straight ahead, really hard rock sound of the Foo Fighters, even though he's got the chops. But he could definitely fill in if he wanted to, and I'm sure they would have him if he wanted to take over for Taylor Hawkins, because he could certainly fill the role quite well, because he's played with everybody and he's a legend in the world of music. So another potential contender for the replacement for Taylor Hawkins would be Omar Hakeem. This one's kind of an out there option, but Police drummer Stuart Copeland, who is a good friend of the Foo Fighters, a good friend of Taylor Hawkins, and actually kind of, I guess, a mentor and an influence on Taylor Hawkins, because Taylor Hawkins mentioned, in many interviews before he died that the Police were one of the main influences on him musically, and Stuart Copeland was a big part of that as one of his main influences on the drums. I don't think Stuart Copeland would really want to join the Foo Fighters. He seems to be comfortable in his career, post-Police career, playing with different people and doing different things. I'm not really sure what he's got going on right now, but I'm sure he's got a lot of things going on. Doesn't really want to join a touring rock band that's going to tour the world, most of the year and make records all the time. But he would be a fantastic addition to the band if he wanted to join. So maybe an outside choice would be Stuart Copeland of the Police. Skewing a little bit younger, another person who might be able to take over drumming duties for the Foo Fighters, although she's a little bit young, is Nandi Bushel. We know that she's collaborated with Dave Grohl multiple times on different videos online. They've done drum battles and all sorts of good stuff, and then she appeared herself at the Taylor Hawkins tribute shows back in the fall. So she's definitely, for her age, got some great chops, although I think she's a little bit young to be in the Foo Fighters. I think it's a great thing for her to show up and do some cameos and fill in with the band on a song here and there, but I don't think she's quite old enough to play with the Foo Fighters, even though she's gotten some incredible chops that she's proved with her following online and all the videos that she's done. She's an incredible young drummer. She's going to continue to do incredible things as she gets older, but maybe a little bit too young right now to join the Foo Fighters, although she would be a great choice, and that's Nandi Bushel. While we're still on the young side, another potential replacement for Taylor Hawkins would be his own son, Shane Hawkins. As we saw at the tribute shows in London and LA, he absolutely crushed it when he got on the drums to play My Hero and some of the other Foo Fighters songs with the band. Again, he's kind of young, just like Nandi, but he's following in his father's footsteps as an incredible drummer. Obviously, he's the son of Taylor Hawkins, so he's had some incredible mentoring, including with Dave Grohl as well, some incredible mentoring to become an incredible drummer. I was so impressed with his drumming when he played at those tribute shows. It was absolutely incredible, and kind of similar to Nandi, he's a young guy, but as he gets older, he's only going to get better, and maybe he might be too young to join the Foo Fighters right now and head on the road. He should probably go to school and do other things that kids are doing, join a high school band, play with his buddies, but I'm sure as he gets older and continues to drum, he might be a serious contender to join not only the Foo Fighters, but a lot of other great rock bands. He might even start his own rock band that could take over the world. So although I think that he's a great drummer and he's going to continue to be amazing, Shane Hawkins, a little bit too young to join the Foo Fighters right now, but he's an incredible drummer. He did an incredible job at those Taylor Hawkins tribute shows, making his father proud. Another contender to take over for Taylor Hawkins as the drummer of the Foo Fighters would be Dave Grohl himself. We already have a great drummer in the Foo Fighters, although he's been playing guitar and singing for a lot of years, but Dave Grohl's still one of the best drummers in the world. If you saw some of the Hanukkah sessions that he did with Greg Kurstin this year, last year, they're absolutely incredible. He can play drums like no other. He's still one of the best drummers in the world. He was the drummer for Nirvana. He was the drummer for the Foo Fighters when they first started, because he played all the instruments on the first record. He played all the drums on The Color and the Shape, and he played half the drums on There's Nothing Left to Lose, and sharing the duties with Taylor Hawkins. And after that, he relinquished the drum duties fully to Taylor. But obviously, Dave Grohl's one of the best drummers in the world. I don't know if he would want to play drums for a 3-hour show while singing all the Foo Fighters hits, because he'd have to pull double duty on that. And even though Dave Grohl has the stamina of the gods, I don't think he would really want to do that, play drums and sing for 3 hours continuously. I feel like that would be a tall order even for Dave Grohl, and as amazing as he is. But you know what? With Dave Grohl, we need him up front. He's the front man. He's the rhythm guitar player, sometimes lead guitar player for the Foo Fighters, and that's where he should be. That's where Dave Grohl belongs in the Foo Fighters, out front, fronting the band, entertaining the crowd, and writing great songs. So although Dave Grohl, one of the best drummers ever, and I'm sure he'll still get up and do some stuff on the drums at Foo Fighters shows like he's done in the past, I don't think he's going to be the new drummer for the Foo Fighters, because we need Dave up front. And lastly, I think this is probably the most serious contender to become the new drummer for the Foo Fighters, and that is Josh Freese, another drummer who appeared at the Taylor Hawkins tribute shows in London and LA. And Josh Freese has a reputation as being one of the best hired guns, one of the best hired gun drummers in the business. He's played with everybody, A Perfect Circle, 9 Inch Nails, Diva, Weezer, and everything in between. Played at the tribute shows, so we know that Josh Freese can handle Foo Fighters songs. And really, when you think about what Taylor Hawkins and even Dave Grohl brought to the drums in the Foo Fighters. It's not just drumming. They brought like a certain ferociousness and a certain style. And really, you know, Foo Fighters songs are not easy to drum for. There are a lot of things going on in Foo Fighters songs. And, you know, like I was saying, that Taylor Hawkins was such an integral part of the band and such a, you know, somebody who was so in sync with Dave Grohl that's a hard thing to take over. But I think that Josh Freese is young enough. He's got the energy that the Foo Fighters need for their shows, because Foo Fighters are one of the most high energy rock bands that you'll see live in the world. He's definitely got the chops, and he's got the energy to take over the Foo Fighters. So I think that potentially Josh Freese, hired gun, you know, one of the best hired guns in the business, Josh Freese could be potentially the best contender and the most serious contender to take over for Taylor Hawkins as the drummer of the Foo Fighters. And that is it, guys. Those are my people that I think potentially take over for Taylor Hawkins as the drummer of the Foo Fighters. We have Josh Freese, we got Dave Grohl himself. If we want to go young, we got Shane Hawkins, we got Nandy Bushel, we got Stuart Copeland as an outside choice, as well as Rufus Taylor. So there are a lot of great contenders to be the new drummer of the Foo Fighters. I don't think anybody could really ever replace Taylor Hawkins, because he was such an essential part of that band and such a really a singular talent when it came to being on the drums and as a songwriter, as a singer, as solo albums. It's so incredible, and really, you know, it's still such a huge loss that Taylor Hawkins passed away last year. But, you know, I'm so happy that the Foo Fighters are continuing as a band and continuing on, because they're one of my favorite bands of all time, and I would be so sad if the Foo Fighters called it a day. So although I won't be able to make it to these festivals myself, I hope that the band will be putting out a new album and going on tour across North America and across the world over the next couple of years, and really spreading that Foo Fighters love, because we need the Foo Fighters. They're one of the best rock bands on the planet, and I'm glad that they're going to be continuing on and doing Taylor Hawkins justice, and, you know, paying tribute to him and everything that they do going forward with a new drummer at the helm. But we'll see who that is, and we'll probably find out very, very soon. All right, that'll be it for this video, guys. Make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos here on the Rock Squad channel. Make sure to like this video. We'd appreciate that. And make sure to share it with your friends and fellow rock fans online. You can follow us on social media at Rock Squad Pod on Twitter and Instagram. You can check out my band if you like the Foo Fighters, Weezer, Smashing Pumpkins, Oasis, alternative rock like that. You'll like us as well. We're called Fools Union, and you can check us out at foolsunion.com. Let me know who you think should be the person that takes over for Taylor Hawkins as the drummer of the Foo Fighters in the comments below, and we'll make sure to see you guys again for another video here on the Rock Squad channel. Until then, rock on, everybody.